People, what's going on? Welcome back to Saeed TV, and we are live for the debate show. We are here, we're live and kicking, and we have a very, very interesting debate today with us. We got Michael, regular on the debate show. Michael, how are you, man? Everything all good? You're on mute, my friend, I think. Or your sound's not on. Yeah, no, I can't hear you, bro. Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's you, Michael, mate. That's what I'm saying, man. We're trying to start off right.
All
You
right,
know what I mean?
should be
Trying to
good
make
now.
yeah, there you are. There you
Yeah,
are.
there we
There
go. I
you
had to
are.
switch the setting. No, my bad, my
Yeah.
bad. Nah, I've been good. Twitter's been pissing me off today, but otherwise, just good. Ready for Man United tomorrow. Basketball is in a couple minutes as well. An hour or so. Life's good right now.
Come on, man. Then we've got two special guests in the building from My United Agenda, I believe. Big up to you guys. We've got Mr. B in the building. Mr. B, welcome to the show. Welcome to Saeed TV, man.
Bless you, man. Thanks for the invite, man. Thanks for the invite.
No, anytime, man. Anytime, man. And we've got Amondi as well. Big up to you, Amondi. Welcome to the show as well.
Thank you. Likewise, from the Man United Agenda, thank you for the invite. I'm really going to enjoy this, man, discussion on my favourite team. And we've got a big game tomorrow. So, yeah, right on time.
There we go. Then we got Danny to calm everyone down. You know what I'm saying to Danny.
You know
I
that
hope you're hearing the
already.
wisdom.
Know that already, man. Need some calm in the family.
Absolutely. Come on, man. Come on. But listen, people, man, the Liverpool cut the gap today to 1 point. Obviously, we've got two games in hand, but Liverpool now on 62 points. Manchester United have 63 points. Obviously, we have a game in hand. Chelsea and obviously yet tomorrow as well away from home. But listen, it's there, man. Liverpool, I think 6 wins on the bounce now. Let's start with you, Mr. B. Top four, is it a concern for you? Or are you still remains in our hands, all of that jazz? How are you feeling now where Liverpool are playing now?
The nerves are kicking in. To be fair, my brother's a Liverpool supporter, so I know I'm gonna start getting it in the neck real soon. If we don't beat West Ham tomorrow, then I worry. That's all I can give. The Brighton game broke me. I'll be honest. I thought that I was looking at the table thinking, okay, 1 point's not that bad, but that broke me. So yeah, this figure now, I'm not feeling. If we don't get West Ham, and it being the Moist man as well, I'm not feeling his whole. I just can't see he's tactically able to beat us away from. So if we don't beat West Ham, then I worry.
Absolutely. Amondi, how are you feeling on Monday? Liverpool winning there. Obviously, we discussed our kind of almost struggles, but just the fact that Liverpool are loitering around us. How are you feeling now?
I'm not that worried, to be honest. I think it's down to us. I mean, players have to step up. Our away form, that's an issue. I think most teams, when they look at the data analysis and study us, from the start of the season, we exposed our weaknesses. I mean, we played Brentford, we played Brighton, and we got 2 L's, you know. And the reason for those L's were sort of major issues like transitions, defensive transitions, and playing out from the back. I think since then, playing away from home, we were struggling in those areas. I think there's other factors as well for us sort of losing games. I think we've got players coming in. Casemiro, great player, but he came into the Premiership. He's having to adapt, I believe. Eriksen's great player as well. I think he dictates the play. But physicality, I think he gets a bit moved up sometimes. Salcedo in the first game against Brighton, for example. I remember Onana, it's like introduction to the Premiership from Casemiro. Onana for Everton munched him. And I was thinking, oh my God, he's got to learn. This is, he's got to understand. It's only when you play each player and then you go to him again, you realize, all right, I need to sort of plant my feet. This guy's strong or whatever. So I think there's a number of factors that we have to sort of really look at as to why we're playing so poorly away from home. And I think hopefully we can get to discuss them during the show. But I'm not really that worried, to be fair. I think we got enough at home to win games. And I think we need a bit of pressure. Come on, let's make this interesting towards the end of the season. Top 4, cup final, already a cup in the bag. I think a little bit of pressure, especially being Liverpool, and to bounce them out the way and say, yeah, you hold that Europa League or whatever they're going to end up with. I think it's good. And it's good to see Liverpool are a good team. We know that already. They've been good for years. We know what happened when we went to Anfield. So we can't be surprised by them climbing up the league. they're a great team, and I watched them today. They got the result. So yeah, the pressure might do us good.
You echo that, Michael? Do you think the pressure is good for United, or these guys are bottlers, man? You know what I mean? Let's at home, okay, fair enough, but away from home, they can't manage it, man. So do you think the pressure is good for United?
Yes and no. Obviously, like going into a cup final, I would rather us have like be playing games that mean something. Because I remember the Europa League final, like we had like 2 weeks where we didn't have to play for anything, and I think that cost us in the Europa League final because we just looked lethargic. So it's kind of good in a sense to be kind of keep fighting for top four and just be in shape for that FA Cup final. Even though since it is a derby, I expect it to be like the pressure's there anyway. Not the same as playing Villarreal, but like you said, we're bottlers. I don't trust these players. Like even though they won a cup this year, I still have in the back of my head there's doubts that I have about certain players in this team that will they deliver. We also don't have our starting center back partnership. Like while Luke Shaw and Lindelof have been good in my opinion, they haven't really had a game where they look like poor. I just can't trust certain players. I can't trust our attack. It's just Marcus Rashford. If Marcus Rashford's not scoring, who's scoring the goals? So it's that kind of sense. But I still think that we're gonna get it only because it's in our hands. And we have 3 games at home where we don't really lose. But a lot of people like on social media have been adding points from the games in hand. I don't count games in hand. The only team in this league that can really count games in hand is Man City because they're gonna win it no matter what. Us, you guys remember Crystal Palace away. We counted that as 3 points. Olise daggered us in the 95th minute. Leeds at home, we struggled. So it's not. I don't like adding points to our table. We just right now Liverpool are 1 point behind us. That's the table. Let's just handle business tomorrow and then the next 4 games after that.
Danny, you look calm there. Are you really calm? Because it's okay. You know, it's okay to be a little bit worried. You know what I mean. Like I know you want to.
I only get worried if I have to get worried, innit? I'll be honest with you. I'm just scrolling through the matches we've had this season to identify our results away from home. And the reason why I have to scroll through all of our matches is because the narrative, if you notice, they keep saying top 9. What is this bespoke statistic the media want to beat you over the head? Why is it so bespoke to the top 9? We usually work in even numbers, top 6, top 10. Why is it a 9? What is this? Is it because against the other half of the table away from home, our record's actually decent? Is that why? Is it because we beat? But hold on, is it because we beat Everton away from home? We beat Wolves away from home. We beat Forest away from home. Where West Ham in the table? Oh, hold on, wait. We beat Leicester away from home. This is interesting. What would happen?
Come on, Danny.
Hold on.
Danny,
Wait.
You're changing the narrative, man.
Yo, I didn't plan this, Saeed. I was just curious. Hold on. We beat Southampton away from home. What's Man United's record against the bottom line? If I were to look at it, just looking at this weren't planned. I'm doing a tweet on this after the stream. Sure. I'll worry if they give me something to worry about. Before the Villa game, everybody was stressing me. Yo, Villa are in good form. And I'm like, yeah, somehow they've won like 8 games in a row. They're going to drop off. Did they lose today? I think they did, right?
Yeah.
Liverpool, they've won, I think, 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah.
People are confident they're going to win their next games. Have you watched Liverpool's games? If you were a Liverpool fan, you wouldn't watch that victory over, was it Fulham they played last time out?
Very, very tight wins. Yeah.
That weren't a good game. The game today weren't convincing. And I looked at it like this side. If Liverpool just stopped playing so we could catch up in terms of equal games played, even if we lost, so Liverpool when they played 34 games or 33 games, whatever it was, if they just stopped and we played our games in hand, if we lost those 2 games, we would have been 4 points clear. If we lost 2 games and Liverpool didn't play any more games and we were equal, we would have been 4 points clear. The swing for them to get above us is going to take some necks. It's going to take the type of bottling we ain't seen from this team probably last season don't even count, but like it's going to take some serious bottling, man. And we've got 3 games. We've got 3 games at home. Like I'm just looking at it now. We got Fulham at home, Chelsea at home, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away. Yeah. We play West Ham, Wolves, and Bournemouth next, man. If we get 7 points from these 3 games, it should be 9. But if we get 7, and then we've got 2 home games to finish the season, yeah, I'll worry when I need to.
It all starts tomorrow, innit? That's the plan. It all starts tomorrow. West Ham. That's where we have to do. But Mr. B, our away form isn't great, is it, man? What do you put it down to? The away form, and why is it so different from the home where we've been very comfortable at home?
I'm going to throw something out there. Could it be Ten Hag's arrogance to the fact that at Ajax he dominated home and away at Ajax, and he's come into the Premier League. First game, we got a slapping from was it Brentford, the 4-0. And
Yep.
I'm not going to say he hasn't learned, but maybe his style of play, he needs to adapt himself to the Premier League.
You
Silence.
I disagree. I disagree. The reason why I disagree is because I haven't seen anything to change how I thought it would go at the start of the season. So at the start of the season, when you know how it is, new manager, new philosophy, what's the window going to be like? I'm like, from my point of view, I looked at Ten Hag's football Ajax coming into, and I was like, I reckon against the small teams we'll be fine, but we'll struggle in the big games. Our record in the big games in the first half of the season caught me off guard. I was surprised by that. I wasn't expecting us to have that performance against Tottenham. I know we drew against Chelsea, but we should have been 2-3 clear in that first half. I wasn't expecting that. But Old Trafford, look how he dealt with Brentford. Look how he dealt with Everton. Look how he dealt with Villa. Away from home, our away record.
Why can't you replicate it though? What is it? Why can't you replicate
so
the same football?
The issue is, it's just when we come up against the best teams away from home, because of everything that comes with what's required to beat them, year one under Ten Hag, that's just beyond us. That's all it is. And when you're a top 4 team, I always say to football fans, there's always, unless you're Man City, yeah, if you're anything below, especially if you're in the top 4, there's going to be something wrong with you. There's nothing never wrong with the top 4. Like, football fans have this delusion. As long as we lose and we lose playing well, creating chances, on what world does that happen? Where you finish 4th, but you did it every time you drew, every time you lost, you had 20 shots on target and created 5 big chances. That's fantasy land. That's not how it works. You're a top 4 team because there's something wrong with you. Like Newcastle, midpoint of the season, nothing but 0-0s. There's always something wrong with somebody. That's why you're in the top 4 race to begin with. So I don't think it's Ten Hag's arrogance. I just think he doesn't have the quality. He doesn't have. He needs more quality to go away from home and deal with the characteristics that come with playing like the best teams in the league away from home for me.
Big up to HK Music. He says here, Ten Hag does not need to adapt his style of play. These players need to adapt or get out. We need to ship out most of the squad. They're not good enough.
He's not adapting his style of play. They just can't execute what he wants. There's a difference.
But then also, but again, if you can't execute, these are seasoned pros. These are guys that have played in European levels. So if you can't do it, then I'm sorry, man. You need to move on. I mean, what do you reckon in terms of that? What you just said, the HK Music, the players not adapted to the style there. Do you think these players are just not good enough? You know, at home they seem to do it, but away from home they can't. The technical players that Brighton have got, we haven't got that. And sometimes at this level, you need that, don't you? What do you think in terms of the players and them adapted to the style?
Yeah, the personnel, it's not, he's got to bring in his own players that suit his system. Obviously, as the man was saying, he's got a philosophy of play. He needs to adapt that. It's going to take some time. I think before the season, most of us would have said it takes 2-3 windows for him to get his own players in, his personnel, before we can really judge him. But he's overachieved. I think to be in the top 4 and looking at Champions League football and having a trophy, that's a good achievement. No one would have really sort of said that with chest at the start of the season. We've sort of given him leeway, said, all right, let's give him a couple of seasons, a couple of windows to get things done. I think there's certain players out there that we've seen, especially, some are obvious, some are not so obvious, that cannot really sort of adapt so well. Some have adapted really well. Have a look at Luke Shaw. He's someone who's sort of, strolling out there at centre-back and playing really well at left-back again. Malasia's come in, players have come in, they need to adapt, not only to, some players know the philosophy, like Anthony's played under the manager before, but he's playing in a new league. He's playing against defenders that he doesn't know about. And he's playing against a physicality, which is probably new to them. It used to be a myth to me to say coming to the Premiership is going to be that different. But I think it is now. I think the Premiership's at a level now where if you come and say from Dutch football, or German football, even Italian football, how many Italian players really come over here and sort of kill it? You understand what I'm saying? Or people have played in the Italian league. There is a difference and there's a bit of a step up. So I think we have to give the guy time, talk about Ten Hag, to get the players that he wants in. Because, for example, let's give you an example here. We look at our midfield issues, and I like Casemiro, I like Eriksen. I think them two really play well together. Nice, good balance between the two. But Casemiro is a bit of a pudding. He can't really get around the pitch. He has to use experience. Eriksen on the ball, great, and all this kind of thing, but he hasn't got the physicality. He gets moved up a lot of the time. The alternative is Fred, who I think lacks a bit of quality, got a lot of running power and heart. And then McTominay. I know he's shaking head there, Mr. B. What do you call him again? McFuckery is what you say about them.
No,
He's lacking that quality there. And I think it takes time to adapt and get it right before things click. And I think we still need a lot of time and patience with this Man United team. Regardless, everyone says, oh, we're Man United, we're Man United. We need time and patience. And I think all the fans should give the manager time and patience to get his players in before we make a real judgment. But he's overachieving for me right now. So I wouldn't be worried about that. Because some players have flopped, as in Harry Maguire. I'm a big endorser. I like him as a defender, but he's clearly struggling out there. Maybe it's to do with more confidence, because I've seen him perform at a high level. But it just seems to be, a lot of shit coming his way, and he can't deal with it. And I think when you talk about games that we're not winning, character and leadership comes into it. And I don't think we have those characteristics in the team as yet. Someone who can say, right, we're winning 1-0 at Palace. Let's hold it down. Let's keep the ball. Let's put, let's just slow it down, boys. Tactical foul here and there. We need that communication. We need that character. We need that sort of leadership on the pitch, not just off it. So the manager, love his style. I've got his book right here. Love what he represents. But I think we need the players on the pitch to sort of deliver that as well. And they have to take some responsibility. Also, final point is about defensive transitions. It's like when we lose the ball, what do we do? And I think I like the thing with the manager. He has a rest defense, 5 players at the back at all times. He's sort of gone away from that. I agree with Mr. B. He's gone away from that sometimes. Got a bit too comfortable playing sort of almost 5 or 6 up the front line. And when we do give the ball away, which is unexpected at times, and those sort of transitions, we're struggling. And I remember goals at Brentford where we gave the ball away early when we lost 4-0. And Mbomo just left Luke Shaw, and we were just outnumbered. Didn't have enough players behind the ball. So I do think the manager needs to tweak it, be a bit more conservative. I do agree with Mr. B slightly about coming from a different league. He needs to adapt as well. He's not that stubborn where he doesn't think he knows it all. He needs to learn as well. Okay. And I think just like Casemiro learned about Onana, next time I'm going to be ready for this guy, plant my feet. I think the manager next season will know, okay, I need to sort of be a bit more conservative here. Think about the Liverpool game. We're 3-0 down. Maybe it could have been 3-0 sharp shop. Remember the old Italian teams from the 90s? They go 1-0 up, game over. You might as well go home because they know how to shut down games. And we need to learn to do that too.
Mm-hmm. It's your boy says here in the Prem, we need an extra 6 on the road, 4-3-3. And question for Michael, and then we'll bring it to Danny as well. A serious question. What is Ten Hag's style? Once we establish it, then we could debate it if he needs to make changes. But I don't know what our style of play is. Let me bring that question to you, Michael, because I think it is a hybrid of different situations, isn't it? You got the more transition, counter attack, but he can play possession when he needs to. But what do you, in your opinion, what is his style?
It's obviously, I think it's more suited to like the possession base. Obviously, like we saw the games against Brentford or Everton. I think that's probably his end game style. Once he gets the actual players that he wants, I think that's kind of more the style that you see. But obviously, there are games where he leans to the transition. Against Brighton, for example, he knows Brighton's qualities on the ball, and we're not going to dominate possession against them. We have no chance because we don't have the quality of players to do that. So he set up in a transition based style, and his press was good. We actually the thing about our road games, if you look at them. The first half of them, we typically actually play really well. But probably even against Liverpool, we were only down 1-0 at halftime. Most of them, except City, where they absolutely dominated us 4-0. That was the only away game where we just looked absolutely terrible in the first half. Every other game, Spurs, we were comfortable. 2-0, that game looked like it was done. Brighton, it was 0-0. We were the better team on Thursday in the first half, in my opinion. So it's the second half what happened. And what I've noticed lately is we start kicking it along and trying to win the second ball a lot more than we did in the first half. In the first half, David De Gea is averaging like only 12 passes and most of them are short. Second half, we're just playing hoofball. And in my opinion, we don't have the players, we don't have the physicality on the pitch to chase second balls. Eriksen is not going to be able to chase a second ball and win that duel. That's not his strength. Casemiro looks, for me, has been kind of really bad the last couple months. Obviously, suspension, I don't know if that affected him. But bar against Villa, his passing has been sloppy. This guy's trying first-time volleys instead of just keeping it 5 yards. we don't lack control. And to be a good team away from home, you need to be able to have control and dominate games, which we don't have. Because even Liverpool, you guys know last year they had like 90 plus points, right? Did you know that they didn't beat a single team in the top 4 last year? They drew every single game, I believe. So it's not easy to beat the big teams, and especially away from home. At home, obviously, our players have more control and we're more on the attack because our crowd pushes them to be that much better. But away from home, you don't have that benefit, and it's up to you to keep it simple and not panic because, like I said, in the first half, we looked good in almost every away game. Even some games that we've won, we looked much better. It's just the second half, and for me, that's more down to little Ten Hag tactics. Maybe he needs to like really push his players to tell them stop playing along, and it's just better quality. We obviously need midfielders because if let's say Ericsson's struggling, right? Who's the midfielder we bring on? Fred. Fred is the worst example of control. This guy has control is not in his vocabulary.
Bro.
He's either gonna drop a 10 out of 10 or he's gonna drop a 0 out of 10. You don't know what you're gonna get. So it's just that kind of Malacia as well. If we bring on Malacia, that guy's not control. He's not a control footballer. He's kind of like Fred. He could have like the Sevilla game, even against Villa, like last minute, a guy going past him and he started fouling him. It's like the kind of players that we have. So we just need better quality players. And I think next year, if we get that, you're going to see a lot improvement away from home. It's just right now, as long as we handle our business at home, which is a good first step, establish home dominance, your turf, defend your turf. And after that, once your team gets better, away from home, you're going to see a lot better. I think Man City probably had the same problem under Pep, and they fixed that with better quality players as well.
Big up to you, my friend. I'm not going to pronounce that name because the style is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar freestyle with Casemiro. Let me ask you a question. Big up, Iana. Hope you're well, mate. Smash the likes up, people. Nearly 600 in here. Danny, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's a conflict of style with the players? Some people are suited to more transition, more counter-attacking style. Some players may be suited to the possession base. You think he's got a clash of players until he gets rid of what he needs to and bring the players?
Saeed, man, I say this all the time. Man United fans have the memory of an elephant. I was going to say fish, but I said this to somebody the other day and they told me elephants have worse memories than fish. So I'm saying elephants from now on, yeah? Man United fans, they got the memory of elephants. How is it for 9 years we criticize Woodward because he doesn't recruit players for a distinct brand of football? You look at Louis van Gaal. He forced the brand of football because he could. The way he plays football, he can do that. On a group of players, it made no sense to. Yeah? Like, come on, Schneider and Fellaini. Why are we keeping possession base with those guys? Let's be real. Right? He forced it on them and you saw the problem. The wrong players for that style of football, even though the manager forced it on those players. Jose actually brought pedigree and quality. Mkhitaryan came with pedigree and quality. Matic did, Pogba did, Zlatan did. But it fell apart for numerous reasons. But the quality in the team was that Mourinho's not a stylistic, progressive coach anyway. So I don't know why we do this as a fan base. We moan because we don't recruit for a distinct brand of football. Sir Alex players, Moyes players, this player, that player. And then manager comes in for one season, one window, and you're surprised the players don't reflect his philosophy. What's wrong with you?
No, but I'm trying to back to that.
Logic is that? How can you identify the problem for 9 years? You see the roadmap. The roadmap to fixing it is consistent recruitment over time. And at the first hurdle, you're complaining about the roadmap you figured out yourself. What's wrong with you? I don't understand Man United fans sometimes. I'll be honest with you. The ones that are complaining about that. The guy asked before quickly, what's Ten Hag's football? If you just want to see the patterns of play that Ten Hag is trying to execute that reflect his football, I can give you the examples. Anthony's goal against Arsenal, the goal we scored against Leicester in a 1-0 game away from home, the cup games against Forest and Reading, and the league game against Forest, because we dominated in those games. Leicester at home, Brentford at home as well, just to name a few. And even if you can go back to Nicosia and Sharif in the League Cup in like September. That's how Ten Hag wants to play football. To do that, he just needs his players. It's not that complicated. His football, he can't cheat. It's why I didn't want Poch. Poch can cheat. Poch is a cheater. You can force plays on Poch and he'll find a way to overachieve stylistically and results-wise, but I don't want that for Man United. I don't want a manager doing that. I want the club to fail if necessary, if they can't deliver for Ten Hag. So we have the conversation again as a fan base and say, why didn't you recruit the players for that manager's brand of football? It's a basic thing. It's not a coincidence. Potter and Brighton, they've been in the Premier League for it's their third season in the Premier League. They've been recruiting players for Potter ball. Potter ball is quite attractive. Keep the ball, possession, blah, blah, blah. They hire a better coach who has better methods but similar principles. He wants to play possession-based football. That's why De Zerbi can take over Brighton and elevate them, and it looks that way. Because they were already recruiting good football players to play good football consistently over multiple windows. I don't know what else to tell, man, Saeed. I'll be honest with you, man.
No, 100%.
You know what they want, Saeed? They want a manager to confirm their bias and their egos. That's what they want to be, the Man United manager. They want Ten Hag to sell the players they don't like and they hate and buy the players that they like because they're the experts that should be working in professional football.
Cool, Dre said, can we all reflect on first season at City with the players he had at the time? Remember when Klopp came into Liverpool, they only played for 45 minutes.
That guy's got a better memory than an elephant. That guy's a smart guy. What season was that? 2016? That's got a good memory.
16,
yeah, it might be his first full season, 2015-16. I think, Mr. B, I think it's about, when you look at this squad, when you look at what we're lacking, what do you see it when you look at this squad and you kind of look at it? What are the deep-rooted problems for you when you look at the squad?
Do we start from the back? De Gea with his feet. Wan-Bissaka, technically, as good as he is defensively, going forward, we lack that. But defensively, you can't argue he's a defender first. Obviously, he was a failed winger at Palace, so he's made his position. Fred, I don't think is good enough. Just technically, I'm just talking about technical players here. McTominay, not good enough technically. I mean, I've bypassed Maguire. I just think that's just, whether it's luck, whether it's arrogance, whether it's just whatever. We've got so much players who technically can't do what he wants. You look at the players he's brought in. Martinez, who he knew technically does exactly what he wants to do. Varane is world class. Varane will adapt. Casemiro's come in. He does what he wants to do. Eriksen, as much as his legs seem to have gone since he's come back, technically he's what he wants him to do. So there's players in the squad, even Martial. Technically, Martial's good. It's just the rest of it, for whatever reason. I don't know if he's given up or whatever. He knows he's going to be sold, but he's another one. Technically, he's good, but the attitude's right. So you look at none of the, bar Malassi, who's probably been the lesser level one that's been brought in. All of those players that Ten Hag has brought in is playing to his style of playing, his system. So we get another window. All right, it probably, as Danny was saying, it's going to take time. The club aren't going to go out there and buy 6 first-team players. It might be another 3 that come into the first team this season, another 3 again. And that's maybe how it's going to have to work.
I think it's going to be, it's one of them. It's a clash, in it, on Monday, of the technical players that we want to see. And obviously the players that are just not good enough in it to kind of play that style. Obviously, this summer is going to be a big summer to kind of get that style into place. Obviously, you've got likes of Sancho still there, Martial who's still there as well. I mean, is there any particular players that you think are on a kind of maybe last chance?
Can I make a quick point, Saeed? I don't disagree with anything that Mr. B said, but I think it was, I was just going to say Juma in it. Yeah, he made some good points. You can't ignore how you play without the football in 2023. Because we've got so many hideous football players, our attention is drawn to what they do on the ball. Against Brighton, if you look at Ten Hag's set up tactically, we had the bodies in the right zones, in the right places to win that ball back. Those players simply weren't capable. They weren't capable of winning that football back. We need players who are good technically, but are excellent without the ball as well. You can't get, like, Gundogan is good with and without the ball. Bernardo Silva's good with and without. Rodri's excellent with and without the ball. City's the standard. Look at their midfield 3. All good with and without the ball. You look at Eriksen. Eriksen's actually the best blueprint. Good with the ball. Without it, that's actually not what we need. As a squad player, fine, you can slot him in when you need. But as a starter, as Juma was saying earlier, you want someone who's good at both things, and you can't just have one or the other in 2023. Man, that's not how it works anymore.
Yeah, that's it, innit, Monday. You've got to have a balance. But the thing for me is, it's true, because when you have players that are without the ball, and then when you're with the ball, you look at Fred, the way we played out from the back there, that's perfect of what Ten Hag wants to do. And all of a sudden, Fred can't execute the next pass. So we're never going to play that. Some people say, give me Frankie de Jong. You know what I mean? It's the sort of players that can get on the ball in tight areas, isn't it? To kind of play the way Ten Hag wants to play.
Yeah, I think the whole point that we were asked about Ten Hag's philosophy, how he plays football, is Dutch football is possession football. It's simple as that. When Steve McLaren went over there, I think in the first game they were drawing 1-1 or something, and the managers or the staff were saying, that's magnificent. We've had 70% of possession. And he's like, but we're not winning. He said, no, it's about possession here. So it's clear like that. I think we're missing a big dimension of our play with playing out from the back. I think it's a big issue. I'm not here to rip players and everything else. I hate to do it because I'm not a pro. But I'm an observer, and all I can observe is that De Gea as an issue. We're missing something playing out from the back. We would have more possession if we were able to play out from the back. I'm watching the Liverpool game earlier. Alisson was pinging balls left, right, and centre to feet from 30, 40 yards. And I think if only, and they would carry the ball and then they beat the first line of the press, and then suddenly they're in and they're playing possession higher up away from the goal. And I think that's a major factor that we're missing out on right now. You talk about players, personnel. Yes, that can be improved, most certainly. That's the goal, isn't it? You get rid of the people who aren't cutting it. I'm not going to name names as well. I think we know about Maguire. I think Maguire would be better off to leave because he's probably going to be a squad player, and he's an England international #1 centre back. He's been proven in the last few tournaments. There's a big tournament coming up next year, so maybe he needs to leave to get first team football. But beyond that, I think players have to be given an opportunity to learn. Now, you can have all the technical ability in the world, but if you can't play, there's two sides of the game. When you got the ball and when you haven't got the ball. And as we're seeing right now, playing out from the back, what's breaking down? All right, I can look at the game and say, well, his distribution's poor. But what about the other guys? Are they drilled? Have we had enough time to drill them into what we're supposed to be doing here to pick up the ball and break these lines and get up the pitch? Maybe not, because I'm seeing so many difficulties. The other day, Lindelof passed the ball to the right back, Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka was in the straight line with him. He was in the same line with me. He's supposed to drop off and give an angle. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's so many things I'm like frustrated about, saying, come on, guys, that's you, Wan-Bissaka. If people say blame Lindelof, but no, bruv, that's you. You're staying in the same line as him. Drop off. Give us to create an angle. It's basics. I think footballers, when you're training day in, day out, we can sit here and say, bro, you can do better, you can do better. Damn right you can do better, because you're a full-time footballer. You're doing it day in, day out. Do your homework. Learn the game. It might seem confusing. You might have all the ability in the world, but learn the game. This is why Pep is doing so well at the moment, because he drills it like an old-school headmaster. You make sure you learn what I'm doing. And if I'm seeing it on the pitch, I'm going to come off my technical area and tell you you're in the wrong zone. You're doing it wrong. And I think that our manager is similar to that. He will direct people the right way. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to have to get checked. And this is what I think this comes from. I don't know what you guys in the panel think. I'm asking everyone, what does this mean? Does it mean that we need to learn the off-the-balls thing? Does it mean oh my God, I get it? Because before, Rashford used to run into traffic, get the ball, just run like blind alleys, that kind of thing. Is he learning that?
Rashford's still doing that.
What does that mean, guys? But I think that's crucial, because I like that, because I think, okay, that means we're learning something about the game. We're learning another side of the game that we need to improve here. So it's really crucial. When you sign a player, it used to be about, are they married, are they settled, are they, got it together. Now it should be, as my man's saying here, it should be about what's their IQ like, awareness on and off the ball.
Absolutely, man. Big up says here, ZZ said here, if we renewed De Gea, we ain't getting UCL next season. Well, listen, man, we have to wait for that season. We have to finish off this season first. But you know what it is, though? I feel like, for me, there's a situation where they attack Michael, man. You know what I mean? Like, the chances, like, bro, Ten Hag's giving, and the tactics are there for... I seen the counter press. I seen us pressing the first half. Let's not kid ourselves that the first half wasn't great. It was amazing the first half. But these guys can't finish their dinner, man. I mean, the amount of chances that Bruno gave over the top to Rashford, and then Martial had chances as well. I mean, Michael, man, it's unforgivable, man. Some players are being selfish. Some players are just not being clinical. I mean, I don't know what's going on, man.
I mean, the funny thing about Bruno is, he's created pretty much as many big chances as KDB this year. The creative numbers are pretty much identical. Yet KDB has about triple the assists. Why? Because KDB has a robot up front, and we have a Martial Martial used to be actually a cold finisher like 3-4 years ago. He used to over exceed his XG by 3-4 goals.
You know how many goals he's got in the last couple of years?
Probably 5. He hits the ball like a 5-year-old. the ball just rolls to the goalkeeper. It's like teaching my godson how to kick a football. That's what it looks like when he's kicking it. And even Anthony sometimes. Anthony, half the time the ball looks like it's going top bins, and the other time it's just rolling to the goalkeeper. Our ball striking, bar Rashford, is absolutely abysmal. And even Rashford's never been the best finisher. Obviously this year he's gotten a little better. He's gotten in better zones to finish. But even Rashford, if Rashford can start using the side foot technique a little better, his goals will even go much higher, which is kind of crazy to think about because he's going to be he's probably going to hit 30 goals this year. If he improves on his finishing, we're talking about a 35, 40 goal player. But our attack, these guys just don't know how to strike a football. They don't know how to get in the right areas. They don't know how to make the right pass. It's just, we talked about technical qualities, technical abilities, also talking about ball striking. Ball striking is very important in the attack because if you don't have good ball striking, you're probably not going to score many goals. And when we talk about the striker, like the striker that we're going to get this summer, a lot of people talking about Kenny Link play and everything. Like Kolo Muani, for example, is the name that's been really very popular amongst United fans on social media. He's great on the ball, like in terms of linking play and everything, but the guy is not a good ball striker. He doesn't strike the ball with like Vim. Like I want my striker, when he hits the ball, I want it to like terrorize the goalkeeper. Like Van Nistelrooy, like Holland, when he strikes the ball, like Van Persie, when he strikes the ball, it's going top bins. He rips the net apart. Kolo Muani doesn't do that. Osimhen does that. Rashford does that. Rashford's our best ball striker. He's the only player when he shoots, I'm like, it's probably gonna go in. At least it's gonna the goalkeeper's gonna be confused. When Weghorst shoots it, I know nothing's happening. When Martial shoots it, I know nothing's happening. When Anthony shoots it, 85% of the time, I know it's not really doing anything. Obviously, everyone has their days. It's the same thing. Sabitzer has a good ball striking, to be fair to him. He has a good catalog.
Yeah.
Bruno's ball striking has fallen off a cliff. Like 3 years ago, this guy used to be insane at ball striking, and now all of a sudden it's gone. I need that Bruno back. Bruno 3 years ago, when he hit the ball, I'm like, oh, it has a good chance of going in. Now, against Spurs, that miss when it was when they tied it up, or when it was 2-1. Instead of just like sliding in and this guy started putting power, these guys don't know how to strike a ball and when to strike and when to use different techniques. It's always the same technique, some variation. And Benny McCarthy's done a good job of coaching them, but in the summer, I need more. Sancho, another example. Sancho, this guy, he doesn't strike the ball with anything either. I need some ball strikers. That's the only way you're going to score goals. Look at Man City. We talk about them. KDB, when Arsenal, Martinelli's a good ball striker. Saka's improved on it. That probably used to be his weakest part, and he's improved on it. Man City, KDB, Holland, Grealish not really much. Mahrez has a good ball strike on him. It's just ball striking. I need my attack to ball strike. And because if you look at our chances created, I think we missed the most big or second most missed big chances in the league this season. So we create, but we have like 30 goals less scored than the top teams in the league. Why? Because these guys don't know how to put the ball in the back of the net. And people say, oh, once we remember how to put the ball in the back of the net, no, it's not once we remember. We just can't do it. It's not remembering. You don't know how to do it. You can't remember something you don't know how to do. It doesn't exist. So start putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, it's like going into the deep part of the swimming pool. You know, if you've not had the swimming lessons, you ain't just gonna do it. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that, man. HK Moose says Martial had one chance the whole game, or wingers were too selfish. I pray for any 9 we bring in this summer. And also we got one from here. Rashford never passes to teammates. Danny, what do you make of the forward line, man? I'm not gonna lie to you, man. The fan base always going about Garnacho, mate. I think this United team missed Garnacho's directness, man, especially off the bench as well. But again, you know, people have their say on Garnacho, but the people off the bench are not doing anything as well, man. Sancho came off the bench poor. The strikers are not coming off. Rashford, I think for me, he's been getting his goals, but I think his overall performances haven't been great, Rashford. That's my own opinion.
I thought he was good in the first half. He was poor in the second half, and it didn't make sense actually because he was cooking Casado. Like if you thought Matoma was giving Wan-Bissaka problems, what did you think Rashford was doing to Casado?
He's going down the outside really. He's going
really
down the
easily.
outside
Pure P&P, he was clearing Casado. He was actually a good athlete.
He should have had 2 chances though. And his touch, the touches from Rashford, they're not good, man.
It's not so much technique, like it's shot selection. That's the problem, right? So when Rashford had that chance where P&P passed Casado on the left with his left foot, he goes to the near post. Like, I'm 35 years old. I was taught in that situation, and I saw back in the day when it was 4-4-2, lots of strikers. You know what strikers do? They go across the goalkeeper or they go high, but mostly across the goalkeeper with their weaker foot. This near post thing is a modern thing. These modern players, because of this knuckleball shooting power, they love the near post. They know if they get the right power, it will go in at the near post. They're cheating because they ain't got that. Like go across the keeper. Even if you're not that accurate, if you get enough purchase on the shot, somebody might get a tap in. That's what strikers were taught back in the day. These men just think they're very, very narrow-minded. Their post power, I'll get the better of the keeper.
Right.
So shot selection's a problem. Against Brighton, for me, look, when you play Brighton, there's a clear assignment. Nobody's had more than, like, I think City managed to get 50% possession best, and that's the best Cities. Like, no one else has come close. Arsenal had like 33% possession against them when they played them away from home, but they won 3-2 because they were clinical. Their shot selection was good. Their pass selection in the final third. Anthony had a chance as well, by the way, where he's coming to the box from the right, on the left, he shot. And I said, I want to see this replay. Because I swear to God, if I see, and then I look at the replay, Bruno was down the edge of the box, and Fred, if Anthony just stopped and moved the ball to Bruno, Fred would have had a tap in, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I select that particular example, when you watch Ajax, right, especially last season, when they get in the penalty box, they don't just shoot. They don't just shoot on sight. They work the ball one more time because they know they're going to create a better quality shooting opportunity. So it makes it easier for the player in that situation. And that's a problem we've had all season, to be honest with you. We've had purple patches from Rashford. But when you only got one reliable goal scorer, you're going to get exposed. That's the first game of the season in the Premier League that's ended 0-0 for us. I think, the Brighton and Brentford games the last time we failed to score, if I'm not mistaken. It's been coming. Let's be real, it's been coming. We need Harry Kane in the summer. Simple as that. We need a striker in the summer. And also, one last thing, there's a big misconception about Ten Hag's football. Yes, it's possession-based, but for Ten Hag's football to work, the ball has to stick in the final third. It's not the middle third. When you watch how Ten Hag sets his team up, watch how much time and how many bodies he dedicates to the middle third. It's not a lot. Yeah, Pep does, De Zerbi does, Arteta does, Ten Hag doesn't. He dedicates more time and more positioning to his players being in the final third. So that's where the ball needs to stick. And the problem with our players, the ball either doesn't stick, they shoot on sight, and they're not making the right selections. And that's why we weren't 2-0 up in the first half an hour against Brighton, in my opinion. And even that, the Villa game, same thing. Just selection, timing. Villa gave you a clear assignment. Get the ball in behind, you'll get a goal. You had 90 minutes. You couldn't do it once. That's poor timing, poor selection, not on the same wavelength.
Facts. You're right. Big up HK Music says here, I've already told my Nigerian brother Osimhen to stay away from United before y'all tried to tell him scapegoat. Rashford is no Kivicka. Listen, man, we need Osimhen, man, bro. We need Osimhen, definitely, man. What are you saying there, Mr. B, man? What do you make of our strike force? Are you thinking it's just a case of still have no gunmen? We don't have no players that can finish off the dinners? Are they good enough? What's your opinion on the strike force?
I agree to a certain extent with what Michael was saying about our forwards not frightening forwards. I know my head's dead. Our goalie who's gone out on loan, Henderson,
yeah.
He used to say that Rashford showed him no respect in training. He used to smash the ball at him from 5 yards. That's what I want. I want a goalie. I want a forward who shows no respect. We've got Harry Kane in the equation. Yes, we've got Osimhen in the equation. We have to trust Ten Hag to buy the player that he wants. He knows what he doesn't need. And obviously there's quite a few in the squad that he doesn't need. You look at the chances that Vikhors was having when he was playing. He scored 2 goals in 26 games, but he had a lot of chances. If you have an upgrade in the position that he's been playing in, I'm sure we would have scored more goals. So I think it's more to do with upgrade, a big upgrade, to be fair. Somebody who, look, we talk about Harry. There's going to be arguments all summer about who we're going to get, but whoever he gets is going to probably cost north of 100 million. So it has to be right. That's where I think there is a big issue, definitely 100% with our centre forward. Maybe the rest of them will fill in, but Danny was saying about selfishness. You see that a lot with Anthony to a certain extent, where he could play the extra pass. Sancho plays the extra pass, but I think that's maybe because he was in the Dortmund system where they played. I
don't even agree with that. He's way more selfish than he was at Dortmund. I tell you, even him, he's picked up the bad habits from the other guys. Sorry, Mr. B, carry on. But even him,
no, that's.
I've just seen a slight. Even his habits are becoming a little bit bad. because they're all like that. All of them, they're all selfish. None of them
Probably
think.
it's probably from
I'm
social
gonna-
media, to be fair. 'Cause a
They
lot of
never
people
ever
get
think,
on
you know,
it.
let me get a tap in for my brother over there. They never think like that. Sorry, Mr. B, carry
Do you think we have team players?
No,
You try
sure.
to have team players. So we say it, Danny.
So that again,
So you don't think we have
No,
team
no.
players that want to?
when
No.
Rashford's in the box, it's I want to shoot, I want to shoot, I want to shoot, I want to shoot. No, I can't shoot. Now I think about passing. Opportunity for the best pass is gone. Anthony, as soon as he decides he wants to shoot, forget it. It's a wrap. I've even seen Sancho do it. I've even seen Sancho because he's picking up their habits, and he wants to make an impact. So he's thinking, if I get a goal, I'll make an impact. Maybe I'll stay on the pitch and the manager won't sub me. Like there's other factors to it with Sancho, but they're all greedy, man. You just add one or two players that are more considerate in that final third, in the penalty box in particular, changes everything. Like it's like Cruyff said, right? Football's a simple game, but playing it simply is the most difficult thing. It's simple, but man, they want to eat in it. They just want to shoot and get their goals in it. So,
Question for you. So who would you say was the most unselfish player in our team?
most unselfish.
Oh, unselfish.
Yeah.
Sancho.
Mm-hmm.
It's a forward line, Sancho, because Anthony's pretty similar. Workhorse ain't even in the equation. So yeah, probably Sancho's the least selfish, but they're all selfish to some degree. Even Bruno's selfish.
Would you
Like
say
in that top-
would you say Bruno? You say Bruno was
Yeah.
selfish, yeah?
Yeah, Bruno's definitely selfish, man. Come
Bruno,
on, man.
Sorry, guys, sorry.
Nah, man. Nah.
You don't think Bruno's selfish?
Nah.
With Bruno, it's situational. So you know when the commentator says, like he was clear on goal, I understood why he shot. That's Bruno. If you give him a sniff, but there are certain situations where he recognizes there's like Rashford. There are some situations where he has no business holding onto the football and trying to think about shooting. Bruno's not. It's not that deep with Bruno. You know what I'm
No, I
saying?
don't get it that deep, but it's still an attribute from him.
But
I'm
he knows for the most part he's a creator. So ultimately he's going to be a creator. It's just if you give him a sniff from a wide position in the box, he'll probably take a shot. It depends on the situation.
He's in between. I know he's in between. He's in between.
Just want to say, yeah, I just want to say about like you talk about selfish, unselfish. I think Bruno's a class player. I've had sort of my eye on him a lot this season, and I'm starting to come to the conclusion that he's better than we actually think he is. He isn't. He is unselfish. He plays with his head up. That's one. I love a player who plays with his head up. He's always looking to bring man in. Now, if we were getting our patterns of play right, then it will just click. Trust me, and we'd be getting because we are getting loads of opportunities. I think, and it's all coming through Bruno. He's the main guy. Everyone wants to play number 10, but he plays it really well, and he works hard as well. What we're seeing as well, we're seeing like patterns of play. We're seeing like the third man runs coming into play as well now. Once that clicks as well, that's another way to break teams down. And I think that means you need runners from midfield, and you also need runners from the wide men as well to do that. And I just think with Anthony, he's not doing. You're talking about how our forward line, Anthony, for example, good on the ball, but he wants to get the ball, square man up, and just do a little sugar, and it's showtime for him. But I want to see him off the ball, as we said earlier. On the ball, off the ball. I want to see him off the ball, making runs to feed, because there's so many balls coming through the lines for him. If he got off the touchline and made those runs, we're seeing Wan-Bissaka getting better positions than him from the right back position, and it's like hot potato time because he can't shoot, or he can't. Even remember a couple of games ago, Mr. B, when he's in on goal. It's like we can't forget that. Let's make a note of that.
Tottenham game,
on goal, and
he was
just
breaking into the box. Yeah.
But it's about getting in the right positions, and I think Anthony would get so much more glory if he was to work off the ball, and rather than say, "I want the ball's feet, and I'm going to start showtime from here." Or talking about the striker as well. Rashford, surprisingly, he's come on this season. He's scored headers. And I think when you talk about Martial, he peels off the defender, and one of our midfielders or wide men got occupied the space that's been void by the defence when they go with him. But then when you get into the box now, Martial, you don't see him, boom, good morning, heading goals like that as a striker should. You don't. He passes it into the net. He's not lacing it, as we were talking about earlier, the striking there. We need a proper striker like that who can do some damage in that respect. You mentioned Van Nistelrooy earlier. I love that guy. If he was playing today, he would be getting the amount of goals, I reckon, that Haaland would be getting, So but it's very rare to find a top striker out there that can have a whole body of attributes that will fulfill what we're looking for right now. We talk about that guy who had cancer, who used to play for West Ham, Hala, is it? In a system. Systems wins games, not players. He was in that system. He was banging goals, but playing elsewhere at West Ham, it wasn't happening for him. It's because he was he understood it and he was picking and just slotting goals in from the 6-yard box, big cutbacks and that kind of thing. So it's once the system improves, any one of these guys who's clinical will get a lot of goals for us. So I don't think it's an issue of the players. I think Martial's good. Obviously, he needs to improve his heading. But I just think once the system improves and we get more cutbacks and we work more crosses from the half spaces, I think we're trying to work on that as well. I think it will click and we will get more goals and more opportunities. Because what in different phases of play, look at Arsenal game at the Emirates as well. We were under pressure a lot of the time, but we managed it. It was only a last minute goal to beat, but we contained them a lot of the time. So in that area, we're doing all right. Up further up in the pitch for the final third, finishing our dinner, like you said, everyone's getting spoon fed, but we're not finishing it off. So it's just things will improve, guys. I think things will improve, and as long as we keep supporting the team and get behind them, and looking at how we're playing and looking at how we've adapted from last season, where we were out of ideas against a low block, couldn't break teams down. I think we've improved like tenfold with what we're seeing right now. Third man runs, good patterns of play, more cutbacks and more movement from the wide men, filling in the spaces that the forward drags players out of. That would be ideal. Ronaldo used to do that a little bit. I remember a goal against Brentford a couple of years ago. We were struggling to break it down. Ronaldo dropped off. Elanga made a run in behind and we chipped in and we scored. So it's about creating spaces and not being selfish, as we're saying here. Selfish doesn't mean... it's about selfish means can also mean making runs, which you know you ain't going to get the balls. Like Wan-Bissaka, he makes runs. But defenders think, I ain't going to go with him. He ain't going to get nothing. Even if he does get in, it's nothing's going to happen, you know? But it's good. That's unselfish play by making those runs to create space for others. And I think once we start getting into that, we've seen Dalot and Malacia playing inverted sort of in the midfield. We need more. We've seen this new system with the box midfield where it's 2 holding and 2 in front. Man City do it. A couple of other teams do it.
Right, Arsenal do it as well, yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal do it as well. But the difference is those players that do it, they're comfortable on the ball and they're resilient on the ball. And we don't have that. We put Malacia in the box midfield, ping to his feet, or put Fred in that box midfield, ping to his feet, we might lose the ball. So I just think we need to get the right personnel, as you said earlier in the show, and we need to keep working. When the manager has the whole summer now to work on his patterns of play, maybe we'll see a brand new Man United next season, and all the things that we're struggling with this season will start to click and come into effect.
Big up Cage Game Music. Martial is the least selfish and usually makes the right pass. Listen, there's 700 of you in the chat. Make sure you guys are liking the video. We've not even hit 200 likes. We need to get that up to 300 at least. So please hit the like button on the video. And you know what? It's a case of tomorrow, isn't it? West Ham, Michael, man, it's going to be tough. The team, are they going to bottle it? Are they going to, are we going to come in and score the first goal early on? I think if we score the first goal early on, West Ham, they're going to come at us and then maybe we can pick them off. But yeah, man, tomorrow, man, away game again, man. It's unfamiliar. Familiar story, innit?
To be honest, I'd rather them sit back because lately we've been better against low blocks than we have against team coming at us because Spurs came at us and we didn't know how to handle them. Brighton came at us, we know how to handle them. So I'd rather West Ham just sit in a shell and have us try to break them down because eventually we will break it down. I think we'll win. Obviously, I think Declan Rice is back for them tomorrow. I know he rested up against Man City on Wednesday, but he's back. He's a really good player. I think it's gonna be good to see him battle against Casemiro in our midfield. But I think we'll get the job done. I expect to win. Obviously, I don't think we've lost back-to-back games since the first 2 games of the season. So this team has shown that they always answer the wake-up call. So I expect that trend to continue. So I'll probably say 2-1 victory.
Just a quick mention on Daddy Casemiro. Do you prefer him that role where he's picking up the ball? Because I'm not really comfortable with that. Him picking up the ball as a 6. A lot of people said he's comfortable doing that, but is that role kind of suited to him? Obviously, it's not been playing his best football, probably pre his red cards. But where are you in terms of Casemiro at the minute?
Man, this is a rabbit hole we don't have time for. So, Ten Hag.
Is it uncomfortable conversation?
There was some points being made before. I can't remember if it was Mr. B or Juma. They were breaking something down. You guys have been making some amazing points, by the way. Got me thinking about certain things. The De Gea issue, right? So you broke down that play. I think it was Juma against Brighton when Wan-Bissaka was on the wrong vertical sort of line as Lindelof moving at the wrong angle. Well, it's why right back is ahead of goalkeeper for Erik ten Hag in his priority list. Stuff like that. That's why right back's higher. He knows Varane his main choice centre back. Lindelof probably wants football, might want to go. Maguire's going to go. It's why centre back is ahead of De Gea in his priority list. You can see it's why we spoke about goals. It's why strikers at the top. We're third in the Premier League for biggest chances created. I just checked. We're third in the Premier League for big chances created, but we scored 48 goals. We're like 7th in the table for goals scored. Everybody else has scored 20 plus more goals than us. It's why striker's number one. He wants a better central midfielder for a reason. And the reason why Casemiro's picking up the ball more, his solution to De Gea's deficiencies and some of the players is to have his centre back play the ball to the full back and push into midfield to get the ball back. And if the centre back don't get the ball, Casemiro then gets the ball. That entire pattern of play has been designed because of De Gea's deficiencies and the deficiencies of the fullback who can't play on the half turn and carry the ball, who at least can't be trusted to. Wan-Bissaka's flying, he does it, but it's not a fundamental part of Wan-Bissaka's game. You can't trust his concentration and his security. So with Casemiro, you get better players. The burden for some of these things we're complaining about, it lowers. It lowers. I always say to people, like under Oli, people kept saying more than the sum of your parts. That doesn't change because of who the manager is. We still need to be more than the sum of our parts. Casemiro's now a target for people who want a beautiful six, but they're just being, again, narrow-minded, focusing on one thing. It's the whole pie. Something's wrong. The crust is wrong. The meat ain't been seasoned properly. There's all types of issues with this pie. All types of issues. And it's not I wouldn't just focus on Casemiro. Next season, I promise you, Ten Hag gets the right back that he wants, and he gets the central midfielder that he wants, he'll be complaining about Casemiro less, I reckon. I'd put money on it. If he gets the centre back, if the centre back that replaces Varane is excellent on the ball, I promise you, I'd guarantee it, you won't be complaining about Casemiro as much.
Yeah. I think there's too much responsibility for Casemiro at the minute. When in reality, he wasn't doing that for Real Madrid. There was other players picking up them roles. So 100%, man. Let's get the team that we want for tomorrow. I'm presuming David De Gea starts in goal. Right back, Mr. B. Are we all in agreement of Wan-Bissaka there, or?
Yeah, I'll keep Wan-Bissaka in as much as he doesn't have it going forward. I'm keeping Wan-Bissaka in the team.
Yeah, everyone in agreement? Wan-Bissaka in there?
Well, I would go Delo. I don't see there's any threat like rapid pace or anything to worry about. I'd go Delo, and I want to see a left-footed left back where basically Malacia. I want to see him come into this game. I think it's important he plays.
Any objections?
I think he's got a point about Delo. Wan-Bissaka's been suffering since that semi-final.
Yes.
Listen, he's jogging a lot more. Yeah, he's controlling.
Do you think that's? Can I ask you that? You was talking about the jogging. Do you think he was one of the players Ten Hag was talking about giving 90, not giving 100%?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, but possibly. But there's a reason.
There's a reason, yeah.
Schedule. He's a little bit fatigued. And by the way, I like Malacia for certain games away from home. You want someone to be aggressive. I'm not the biggest fan of Malacia at all, but I can see that. I agree with that point about getting Dalot in there and a left footer who's actually going to confront Bowen or whoever it is on that right hand side.
Yeah.
Let's go with Wan-Bissaka. I think he's going to play. I don't think he's going to change it, to be honest with you. The back pairing will stay the same. I don't think there's a reason to be, worried about the performance against Brighton. I think ultimately it was 0-0. They didn't really have key chances against us in that second half. Luke Shaw again was excellent apart from the handball. Dalot obviously will go on that side, I think, for me. Midfield, this is the key area, man. What midfield? Because Fred didn't work, Michael. Fred didn't work. Is it Sabitzer coming back in? Is it Eriksen coming back in a game like this where Declan Rice will be very, very much in our faces?
It's going to be Eriksen for sure, because he only put Fred in because Fred had that good cameo against Brighton and we were off the ball more. Since we're going to be on the ball more, I'm assuming, based on West Ham's philosophy, I think he's going to put Eriksen, Casemiro, go to his trusted pivot.
Yeah. Anyone else object or want anyone else in there?
Yeah, I'm with that. Eriksen, Casemiro, totally. I don't think they'd be engaging with Rice. Rice is a really good player, as the man said earlier. So I don't think there'd be much engagement like that, as in the old school battle, like guys going up against each other. I just think Eriksen can dictate to play, Casemiro do a job, and we've got options off the bench. So I would start with those two because we want to dictate the play and have possession of the ball as well against West Ham.
I think Bruno and Anthony are probably
Bruno, other than Shaw before the handball, best player, by the way, against Brighton.
He's really good.
His performance got overlooked for some reason, Saeed. Why do you think that is?
Yeah. This is the key area for me. Is it going to be Martial up top or Rashford up top, or is it going to be Sancho on the left and Rashford up front?
Has to be Sancho. Our best forward line.
Yeah, I'm not blaming
Our best forward line is Sancho, Rashford, Anthony. All of our best performances have come with those three because the ball sticks with Sancho and Anthony. The end product might not be there, but the ball sticks. You can get up the pitch, force the opposition back deeper. It makes it harder for them to counter. That's why having those two just for ball security is important. And Rashford centrally, he's got more variation to run and all of that. And the way Ten Hag plays, his striker actually just gets free to hold the ball up. That's why when Rashford plays, you don't see him getting batted up holding the ball. It's because of Ten Hag's system. He creates space for his striker to get the ball without a lot of pressure because he's creating other problems for the opposition team. So it has to be Sancho, man. Has to be Sancho. And I'm annoyed he didn't come on earlier against Brighton as well.
Michael, are you calm with that?
Yeah, I've hated Rashford off the left for a long time now. For at least last couple of months. I think in this current Ten Hag system with this current squad of players, he needs to be up the middle because his tracking back off the left has created a lot of problems for us defensively because teams have started to attack that side because he's not going to track back. He's going to stay up top a little higher up the pitch so he can be able to be a threat in transition. With Sancho there, he offers more of a body, and I think Rashford creates a threat for West Ham center backs. That pace him behind will cause him a threat. I don't like Martial for me. I don't think he threatens Kurt Zuma. Well, I don't know. Aguerd, I think, is the other center back. I don't think he threatens them with Rashford. And I also think, like, chance creation, I think we actually create most of our chances with that attack. Like, the cutbacks, like Rashford's in the middle being a nuisance to the other team. Off the left, we all know what he's going to do when he's on the left. He's going to cut in and he's going to shoot. When he's that striker, sometimes he'll drift off to the right a little bit to kind of create some overloads there. Sometimes he'll drift off to the left. It just allows him to be his best self, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think as well with Rashford, I don't see him as a. Listen, he cooked Caicedo, but I think for me his game is a bit limited on the left in terms of dribbling past people. It's more pacing behind. If he's got space into run into behind, that's his game. So that's why I believe he's more dangerous at. But there's your team there, people. We're gonna get a prediction before we wrap up the show. Mr. B, I'm gonna go for 2-2. I don't think we'll win tomorrow. Mr. B, let me know your prediction for the game tomorrow.
I called 2-2. I've shared God first. I don't have to think I was copying you, but on the show yesterday I did 2-2. I'm not confident over this, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you thinking on Monday? What are you going for?
I'd love to see a 1-0 win, manage the game, see it out. That's perfect for me. That's my favourite scoreline. It shows we're a professional team. Go 1-0 up and survive the rest of the game. No last minute goals, no drama. Just manage the game, see it out, and that means in different phases of play. When we're under it for 15 minutes, we manage that, see it out, come through that, and that's a great result for me. 1-0 and mash them up, and then then we can talk. Then we can talk about his top four.
Yeah. Danny, I know Michael, you give me your prediction already. Danny, what are you saying?
Yeah, man, it's not going to be comfortable, is it? I'd be surprised if it's comfortable. 2-1, a hard-fought 2-1 win, and another dub against the bottom 9 team in the Premier League.
Looking concentrate on that one. Before we wrap up, I'm going to read some super chats out. Big up to Knowledge Anthony. The manager needs to be ruthless. No one rated Stones Aki highly a few years ago. Now peppers them sources. Eric Ten Hag has to demand more from the players. Absolutely. Big up to Sway Mo Official. It says here, we need to stop taking short corners. It's like we don't know what to do with the ball once it's played short. I'm always never a big fan of short corners, man. But
it's because they're crap at doing normal corners.
We can't beat the first man.
That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. People asking me about Jim Ratcliffe, the news. Listen, man, I'm just tired of it, innit? You feel me? Like, I'd rather just let me know when it's finished, innit? You know them ones there, man. Just let me know when it's finished. That's what I want to know. But listen, people, we're going to wrap it up here. Big up to the guys from Man United Agenda. Make sure you go follow them out, guys. But Mr. B, Amondi, let them know what you do, where to find you, when do you film. Let them know, man.
Oh, right. Channels, the Man United Agenda. We've got swing 8:30 every day. We're doing watch-alongs at the moment. We've got reaction shows. So, yeah, there's a few of us on there. We've all got our various opinions and our various thoughts. So, yeah, it's normally I'm pretty excited, to be fair. So, yeah, give us a like and a subscribe, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be checking that and just say, yeah, Man United Agenda, come check us out. There's loads of people doing podcasts, everything else. And I think we have to support each other. So I appreciate you bringing us to the channel to support us.
Definitely.
And likewise, you're always welcome on the Man United Agenda. Big up to other panelists as well. Fantastic insight in the game. Really enjoyed the show. God bless you all. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go, man. There's a channel there, guys. So make sure to subscribe to them over there. Daddy, it's been a pleasure, man. Nice one.
Yeah, no. People can catch me, No Agenda Podcast, YouTube, Monday, usually 7 or 8, because people are complaining. I don't know what's going on. My audience is old, Saeed. They're moaning at me to start at 7 now. I want to be in bed by 8, 9 o'clock, so it's going to be 7 p.m. now. Follow me on Twitter. You see the handle there. I've got actually some big news dropping soon in it, Patreon related. So, yeah, look out for that as well.
There you go, man. Make sure you do that, people. And obviously, Michael, man, let him know where the next player where you don't rate on Twitter. You know what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. The handle is right there for controversial tweets. Apparently, I'm the face of the campaign of Man United again top 4 because of a tweet from 2 months ago. That's my new reputation on Twitter now. So I'm just gonna ride with the gimmick, I guess. And for any other sports, if anyone in the comments watches other sports like basketball, I'm in there tweeting about my Knicks every single day. They're playing right now, actually, so I have to go watch.
You support the Knicks at Man United?
Bro, I'm a New Yorker. I have.
Jeez. The Knicks at Man United for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been a struggle. So that's why I say when people get at me for being negative, I have PTSD from those 2 teams. They've caused me a lot of pain. So that's my natural instinct. So yeah, follow me on there.
There you go, people. Make sure you subscribe, donate, people. Saeed TV. Make sure you like the video. There's still over 550 of you here. Let's get the likes up to at least 300, man. And I'll be back tomorrow for the watch-alongs, man. Listen, what Man United will turn up tomorrow. We'll find out. Take care. Bye. Peace.